The last morning your hand goes under the pillow before your eyes open. A habit so old it happens before you're fully awake. Your fingers find nothing, and for the first time in 22 years, that empty space doesn't scare you. It means the only thing you ever really owned is somewhere safe now. You lie still. Outside, wind moves through dry grass. You read it automatically the way most people breathe. 6 knots. Northeast. Variable. You've been doing this since before you knew why. We need to go back to the beginning. Level 1. The kid who couldn't miss your 16. Standing in a field behind your grandfather's house in rural Montana. A bolt-action .22. Smells like gun oil and old wood. Your grandfather doesn't teach you to shoot. He teaches you to wait. Most men pull a trigger, he tells you. You don't pull. You ask. You don't understand that yet. You shoot tin cans and feel like a god when they spin off the fence post. But something strange happens every time you line up the shot. High voltage, the world gets quiet. Not quiet like silence. Quiet like the inside of something important. Every noise disappears. Every worry. Every self-conscious thought a 16-year-old carries everywhere gone. For those few seconds, you are nowhere but here. You don't know it yet, but you just found the only place in the world you'll always be able to come home to. You shoot every morning before school for 2 years. Your grandfather never once praises your accuracy. He only ever says one word. Slower. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a question forms. How slow can a person become before they become something else entirely? Level 2. The recruit who knew nothing when you're 20. The army has you flat on your belly in red Carolina dirt, full ghillie suit, August, 96 degrees. The suit smells like motor oil and despair. Your task, crawl 800 meters across open ground. Get within 200 meters of an instructor with binoculars. Fire a blank without being detected. Crawl back. 60% of the class fails in the first week. Not because they can't shoot, because they can't disappear. High voltage, here's the part nobody warned you about. You are extraordinary at disappearing. The kid who always felt invisible growing up, in every classroom, at every lunch table, in every room his father also occupied, that kid turns out to have been training for exactly this his entire life. Patience was never your weakness. Being seen was. You passed the stalk on your first attempt. Your instructor, a quiet man named Devereaux, 12 words to his name and uses them sparingly, watches you walk in from the tree line. He doesn't say good job. He says, again. That single word is the most expensive compliment you'll ever receive. But the real test is still coming. And it has nothing to do with distance. Level 3. The student who almost broke the math almost ends you. Minute of angle, mil-dots, Coriolis correction, spin drift, atmospheric density, muzzle velocity variance by temperature. A bullet doesn't travel in a straight line. It falls, it drifts, corkscrews. The earth rotates underneath it. And at 800 meters, the difference between accounting for all of that and not accounting for it is the difference between a center hit and the end of a career. High voltage, you bomb the ballistics exam twice. And for the first time since Montana, you wonder if the rifle never really belonged to you at all. You sit in the barracks at midnight, a data book open in front of you, a headache behind your eyes. The specific kind of fear that comes when the one thing you've ever been good at starts to feel like it might not be yours after all. Devereaux finds you there. He doesn't sit down. He says, "You're computing. Stop computing. Start reading." He picks up your data book, points to a wind call you made that morning. You wrote 8 knots. The anemometer said 6. You were right. How'd you know? You didn't think about it. You just looked at the grass. That, he says, do that with the numbers. Your next exam, 94%. Some things can't be taught. They can only be unlocked. The question now is whether you're ready to use what's been unlocked in the real world. Level 4. The soldier in the real world, Iraq, 2006. A rooftop in a city that smells like hot concrete and diesel. You're on hour 11 of a 14-hour Overwatch. Your spotter, a laconic man from Alabama everyone calls preacher, hasn't said a word in 4 hours. Then movement, a figure at a doorway, something in his hands. The posture wrong. High voltage, your grandfather's voice reaches you across 11 years and 10,000 miles. You don't pull. You ask. Heart rate, 52. Crosshair, settled. Breathing 3 seconds in, 2 out, break in the pause. You ask. The figure turns. An old man, a wrench in his hand, a broken gate behind him. You lower the rifle. The preacher exhales beside you without a word. No medal, no report, no record. Nobody will ever write that down. But you carry it anyway, and that moment teaches you something no training ever could. The hardest trigger to control is the one you never pull. But something is coming that no amount of training prepared you for either. And it's waiting for you at home. Level 5. The veteran who came home wrong. Here's what they don't tell you about coming back. Your body returns. The rest of you takes longer. You're standing in a grocery store in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fluorescent lights, canned music, tile floors stretching in every direction. Without permission, without effort, without any way to turn it off, your brain is doing the thing it always does. 12 meters to the exit, 28 to the far wall. The man in the blue jacket, hands visible, non-threat. The woman near the pharmacy, phone out, distracted, moving at about a meter per second. High voltage, you are reading a grocery store the way you used to read a kill zone, and you cannot make it stop. This is the cost no recruiter mentions. You trained your nervous system to be a weapon. You sharpened it for years, made it faster and quieter and more precise than it was ever meant to be. And now you're home. The stone is gone. The blade is still sharp, and it has nowhere to go. You buy your groceries. You drive home. You sit in the driveway for 11 minutes before you go inside. And somewhere on that driveway, a question forms that won't leave you alone. If you can't put the weapon down, maybe the only honest answer is to give it away properly. Level 6. The instructor who understood you. Go back to school. Devereaux is gone, retired, no one knows where men like him go. Now you're the one standing in front of 18 recruits who look at you the way you once looked at him. Like you know something they don't. You do, and you don't. That's the truth. You watch them struggle with the same math that almost broke you. You watch one kid, 19, from East Tennessee, quieter than the rest, crawl out of a stalk at dusk with his jaw set and something behind his eyes that looks like the beginning of a loss. High voltage, you've seen that look before. You wore it once, in a barracks, at midnight, with a data book you couldn't read. You walk over. You sit down in the dirt next to him. You say, "Look at the grass." He looks at you instead. Not at me, at the grass. What's it telling you? Long pause. Then something in his face changes. There it is. That moment, the unlocking, is the only honest thing you've found to do with everything this cost you. Taking something that almost destroyed you and giving it to someone intact. The sharpest edges were removed. You watch him disappear into the tree line. And for the first time in years, you feel something you'd almost forgotten how to name. Level 7. The operator in the dark. The contracts come later. After the uniform is folded. The pension filed. The name on your ID belongs to a man who officially does something else. You work in high-risk security and field intelligence. The kind of work that happens in places with complex politics and fragile structures, for organizations that keep their names short and their footprint low. The missions are real. The stakes are higher than anything you've carried before. The gear has no budget ceiling. The responsibility has no ceiling either. High voltage, and somewhere in the middle of all of it, you realize something that quietly terrifies you. You have not once sat in silence that wasn't tactical. You have not once looked at a beautiful view without ranging the far ridge. You have not once held something fragile without calculating its breaking point. Your daughter is 7. You know this because your ex-wife's voice on the phone sounds different than when she was 6. You missed the year in between. You'll miss the year ahead. You reach into your chest pocket for the thing that's always been there. The small, smooth, ordinary thing that has meant something different at every stage of your life, and always the same thing underneath. Don't forget who you were before all of this found you. This time, you don't put it back. Final transmission. The morning with nothing under the pillow, so here we are. 4:47 a.m. Wind at 6 knots northeast, variable. The thing under your pillow is gone because last week you mailed it home. No note, just a small package. Your daughter's name on it. A return address you've never lived at. She doesn't know what it means. She'll keep it anyway. Maybe she'll ask you someday. Maybe you'll be around to answer. Your hands are steady. Your eyes are clear. You are, at this moment, the most capable version of what your grandfather started building in that Montana field. A 16-year-old with a bolt-action .22 and no idea where the road went. You checked the wind one last time. 6 knots. Northeast. The grass already told you. You move. If this story hits you, subscribe for more cinematic POV journeys. Drop a comment. Which level cost the most? You'll know the one.